as one of the few producers in the world that's really worked with Michael Jackson, what was really your experience being in the studio with him?
You know, Michael Jackson. It's funny because a couple weeks ago, me and my brother, we launched the start of our April Showers mixtape in Scandinavia. Like out of all countries, like,
right.
And I bump into the Jacksons.
Which ones?
All four, all brothers.
Oh, the Jackson 5.
Yeah, Jackson 5, but you know, bump to Jackson 4, right? Because
right.
the king is gone.
Sure.
And I was like, yo, you know, I'm gonna do a show tonight. Won't you guys, you know, stop by? Because every night, you know, we DJing and we playing music, and you know, my shows be like one big festival. And I have a set that I do 10 minutes where I just go through Jackson 5 and Michael Jackson records. And that night, you know, I start to play ABC on the set, and I'm like, yo, y'all ain't gonna believe what I got in the house tonight. Vlad, you know, I'm doing big talk. This is $100,000 talk. You know what I'm saying? Nobody could be like, I said the Jacksons. And they come on and they start doing the ABC.
Oh,
and
shit.
I'm looking at them. And I'm tripping out. Because they all look alike. Even the ones that look different, they look alike. And I'm like, yo, it's like at one time, all of them was all together. And you cannot help but think of Michael. And the first time that I got a call from Michael Jackson was on a telephone. Michael Jackson called my telephone. And I think he was in Korea. Somewhere. He was in one of them countries. And he was like, hello, can I speak to Wyclef? And I was like, yeah, this Wyclef. He was like, yo, this Michael Jackson. I shut the fuck up. Like, cause you know, I'm a prank, like I'm a joke. When I tell you, my crew knows this, I'm the #1 pranker. Like I was punking people before the show Punks came out. I was like, yo, dudes ain't gonna punk me. Click.
You hung up on Michael Jackson.
Okay. He called back.
Well, I'm sure he's used to that, though. I'm sure people hang up on Michael Jackson all the
Mike
time.
called back. And once I figured out it was Mike, you know, he was like, yo, I was watching this video. I think he was watching Gone to November. And then he was like, yo, when he gets to New York, he gonna come see me. And I remember we was at Sony studio. And Michael's coming, so it's this big thing. The bodyguard at the time, I think his name was either Skip. That was his name, Skip. So, you know, Skip is calling my phone like, yo, make sure no one's in the studio, you know, it's going down. Michael's coming. This the elevator, he's gonna come up. You know, it's like, this is like, cause he was like our, like music, like what the Pope is to the world, that was like Michael Jackson in the sense of music to us.
Absolutely.
Oh man, fam, I see Michael, before he come, I ain't gonna front to you, Vlad. I went to the bathroom, washed my face, right? And after I washed my face, and I was like, working on my greeting, like how I'm gonna meet Mike, you feel me? So I'm like, how you doing, Mr. Michael Jackson? I was like, oh, that shit's corny, Mike. What up, Mike? Yo, how's it going, Mr. Mike? Man. So I do my 5 or 6 and I get back in the room and I'll never forget, dude's coming up on the elevator. Walks out the elevator. And he got the little mask thing on and he's coming towards the studio. Man, when I shook Michael Jackson's hands, everything that I rehearsed in that bathroom completely was gone. Because at times, you hear how much people, because there's some people who come up to me and they start crying. And I don't understand that. When I met Michael and I shook his hand and I tried to talk, and the only thing that came out my throat was, "Hi, there's Michael Jackson." Hi. My voice, it took me a minute to grab myself. I was like, yo, that's that dude from Beat It. Right. We was up in the hood You know what I'm saying? Seeing Wesley Snipes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Dude in the train. I'm like, that's that dude, that moonwalk. I said, the tight jacket we be wearing, that red joint. The dude who made me rock the Jerry curl. I put, what was that perm called, Sadek? I used to use?
S-curl.
I used to throw that S-curl on, and then when it would burn, I would run in the flush like trying to get the water. I said, that's that guy. You know what I'm saying? And I got a chance to be in the studio with Michael Jackson, and not too many people could say that. But he was in a raw element. He was comfortable. And as Michael was listening to music, I would say the one thing I learned, because I just kept watching him, was the dude was beatboxing while he was listening to music. His body was counting the rhythms like a drummer. His whole complete body. By the time the song was finished, he can examine exactly where you was going with the song. So for me, that probably my two most incredible times so far in the studio would have to be Michael Jackson and Whitney Houston. I would say those two people just, they bought the kid out of me, man.
So the greatest entertainer of all time title, from your point of view, is 100% deserved.
Yeah, because what happens is I got a chance to see Michael in the raw element. Yeah. Like not at the Garden with the whole thing. He just sitting there. And his movement, his beats, the way he listened to music, his whole energy, you know what I'm saying? I remember one thing he told me was kind of funny, man. My funniest Michael Jackson story, though, what happened to me when I was in that little tiny room in the Head Factory with him alone. And he was like, and I had my locks, you know what I'm saying? And he was like, you remind me of, these guys, me and my brother, we went to Jamaica. Those guys were smoking a lot of weed, And I was like, oh, Bob Marley. Yeah, but he was talking about Peter Tosh, though, which was crazy, you know what I'm saying? That was nuts, man.
Last time I checked, Cat Williams is either going to end up dead or living forever. And those two choices are fine. The real question is, if he were to die, would anyone care?
And it makes him seem like one of the greatest philosophers of the world because his pen told you this years ago. He wrote what's happening nowadays. He's seen it. So it puts him on a level of a spirit or a god.